Hey, welcome back. I am Prunella Noodlewump, and my puppy right here is Ginger Snap Fuzzbucket. Today we're going to go over Season 1, Episode 6. It's entitled A Fourth Wife to Be. As the wedding day nears, the three wives help fiancé Robyn pick a wedding dress, a cake, and a venue for their unique polygamist wedding reception. It starts out, Kody is at Robyn's house. Surprise! He's doing the dishes. I wonder if he does that anywhere else, but anyway, and then Dayton is looking at a car magazine, and Kody says, "Are you shopping for cars?" And I recognized that magazine that Dayton was looking at. I used to look at my dad's magazines like that. And it's an Auto Trader magazine. It's a magazine that started out in the 80s. It's got the picture and price of cars, trucks, motorcycles. Why do we have this Auto Trader magazine? Are we looking for a new car for Janelle? Why is it sitting on Robyn's counter there? That's kind of fishy. It better not be for Robyn. They quit publishing that magazine in June of 2013. Now it's all digital and online. But it's just a magazine that shows you the picture and prices of cars. It was fun to look at when I was little. And Kody starts eating celery. Robyn says, "Kody and I have been engaged for a while now, and it's been a long courtship and a really long engagement, and I'm ready to be married." Meri says having Robyn come into the family definitely has kind of shifted things and shifted how the family works and shifted how Kody works. And Robyn says there's been a little bit of tension about Kody's time and if I should get equal amounts or if I shouldn't because I'm not married to him yet. Janelle says, "So there's no difference between a wife and a fiance. When you get in our culture to the fiance point, you're committed." Christine says, "I don't think a fiance has the same privilege as a wife. I don't think he should be staying 1 out of every 4 nights he spends time with Robyn. That's not fair to me. When they're married, she gets equal time." Robyn says, "I disagree with it. I disagree with that because of the fact that the courtship had to go on for so long. So it was hard for me to have Christine say that. But as far as time that was needed, that was absolutely needed for the kids and for me to build this relationship with him." Meri says, "I understand that, but at the same time, I agree with Christine too, that, there are just certain things." And Robyn says, "Like what? The thing, the thing." And Meri says, "No, not the thing." They can't just say sex. They're all adults there. I don't understand that. And Meri says once the wedding happened, it's like, fine, go do what you want. Spend every 4th night with her. Meri and Christine are totally against Robyn spending time with him. Nell could care less. And Robyn is just fighting for her independent time with him. It's to self, Melanie, I told you about her. She's the prophet's daughter. She says that she thinks they're already sealed. But even if they weren't sealed, spending every 4th night with Robyn is not proper. Melanie says the fiance should always come to the family. Meri and Christine are against it. Janelle doesn't care. And why does Robyn think she deserves more time? She's married into the family. She should spend more time with the family, not just Kody. Aren't you trying to be a part of this family? Why are you pulling him away? Why aren't you spending time with them? And then Robyn says, "So we have 5 weeks before the wedding and I'm scrambling around like a mad crazy woman. We have flowers, we have the cake testing, we have the reception hall to kind of figure out, and then we have the dresses." It's sort of like can be a very challenging thing to do. I'm going to have a reception. I'm getting married. And I thought it would be fun to include everybody. Are you including everybody? Because you're wasting their time picking a dress because you already picked a dress. They have no real say in the cake because you and Kody picked the cake. Are we including everybody? She's leading them to believe she's including them, but she's already made all these choices. I don't understand that. So they go into the flower shop and the florist says, "You guys sisters or moms?" And Robyn says, "Oh, they're the advisors." And the florist is like, "Okay, wonderful." And Robyn says, "I sat there for months trying to figure out a way to differentiate the 3 of them from other people. And I really, really wanted them to feel special, beautiful, and included and happy." So she calls them the advisors. And this makes me think of when she said to the older kids in Vegas, they couldn't pick their own church till their frontal lobes developed. And then she says, "We have struggled so hard to defend this lifestyle. Have you? Here's your chance. Tell the florist now." The florist that already probably 100% knows what's going on. Here's your chance. She's asking how they're all related. And have you struggled so hard to defend this lifestyle? Why are you calling them the advisors? That doesn't sound like you're struggling very hard to me. Could say, "These are my sister wives." Defend your lifestyle. I mean, if you're going to use that excuse later, you might as well do it. Defend your lifestyle. And Robyn says to pick their own flowers. And Christine picks out a wrist corsage because she's going to be holding Truly. She didn't want to hold a bunch of flowers and Truly. And then Christine, she's so cute. She pulls out her camera and she's like, here's my baby. She's 3 weeks old and she's wonderful. She sleeps through the night. She's like this miracle baby. And I just always want to hold her 24/7. I get nothing done. And Janelle says, yeah, I don't ever get to hold her. She's always attached to you. Christine says, I know I can't let her go, so I will be holding her. So honestly, I don't want to hold the bouquet. Meri says, I love that she involved us, but I was very careful to not be intrusive. Just because I'm the first wife doesn't mean I call the shots. I like to think I do, but I don't. I mean, this is Robyn's wedding. She calls the shots. Bet Meri is holding her tongue. She's got an opinion on everything and picking out stuff. Can you imagine her if she had to pick out her own stuff? She'd be in there forever. She can never make up her mind. And she's so picky. She probably had to bite her tongue a lot. So they pick out what they're going to get. And then that was probably the only thing they got to pick out. Everything else, kind of a waste of time after that. Robyn says they're going to do the cake testing. We had Kody come along. We knew he would have a pretty strong opinion about it, and it was his wedding cake. They're going back to that Flower Girls and Doughboys little shop, and Cody's holding the door open for everybody. The baker comes out. She says, my name is Olivia. Poor Olivia. She's about to work for her money here. She says, I'm the cake decorator here. Just got some samples that we'll cut up for you guys. This is a white cake with almond filling and almond buttercream. And that sounds good. But he says, it's good. I like it. And moves immediately. I don't like it. It's too much almond for me. So speaking of holding opinions, good grief, Meri, are you just rude? And also, fun fact is cyanide is made out of almonds. Did you know that? I Googled that. Not all almonds. Bitter almonds is what it comes from. Sweet almonds are safe. Bitter almonds can make cyanide. There's many ways to make cyanide, but you can use bitter almonds to do that too. And also, if I was poor Olivia and I knew that the cameras were coming in the next day to look at my cakes and show them to the nation on TV, I would be so worried. I wouldn't be able to sleep. I would be so worried about them cakes. I would be stressing and fussing. And the very first cake they taste, Meri has to say something like that. I mean, poor Olivia. She's already stressed out. You can see it in her eyes when she comes in. She's like, these are cakes that I've done. And she's probably been worried sick about how they will take these cakes and if they look good. And this probably has a lot of publicity for her shop. And she's trying to do a good job. And Meri says, I don't like it. And this is where Janelle says that she has a strong personality. And I see this strong personality. She's so rude. You don't have to say everything that pops in your head. She doesn't just say she don't like it. Not once, not twice, but 3 times she says she doesn't like it. There's no need for all that. And then you see Kody starting to eat off of Christine's plate. And Christine's like, stop eating on my plate. I mean, they all had a sample. She says, stop it. Because it is annoying when he does that. You remember when he grabbed that breakfast burrito out of his mama's hand? He didn't care. He just took it right out of her hand and took a bite and bragged about how she didn't mind. Did you ask her if she minded? You didn't ask. And then when Christine made that mock tapioca pudding, and the kids are filing out of the kitchen, and he grabs one of the kids' bowls and takes 1 bite, 2 bites, 3 bites, big bites out of this kid's bowl. And there probably wasn't a lot to go around, and he's sitting here eating this little kid's pudding. I mean, he's stealing the kid's pudding. He just don't care. I mean, if he wants it, he takes it. I don't really mind if my kids ask me for a bite or anything like that. If my husband asks me for a bite too, yeah, I'd take it. But you just coming over there taking people's food. And I wondered why that bothers him. You remember Joey from Friends? Who broke up with the woman because she ate one of his fries. And I'm kind of like that. This is my stuff. Back off. Just ask me. But I looked at why some people get upset about that. And they say that taking someone's food is really crossing a boundary. The food we get, we have chosen for ourselves, and we look forward to eating it. And it provides a comfort. And so when somebody comes into your space and swoops in and starts eating your food, some people, it just bothers them. Like, this isn't yours. If you wanted this, you had the option to get it too. Why are you taking mine? It can feel like an invasion of personal space and property. It's rude. And then he does this thing where he looks at Meri and says, can I try your piece? And she's like, yes. And he goes, what a sweet, loving wife you are. Just real condescending. Christine says we should vote what the top 2 favorite cakes are. And Robyn looks at poor Olivia, who has already been beat down because Meri don't like her cake. And Olivia's eyes get real big. She's like, what you want me to do? And Robyn says, you have to help us. We're going to do a vote with our eyes closed. Olivia's like, okay. Poor Olivia is looking scared. She's like, you want me to do that? And Robyn says, yes, you have to help us. Everybody close your eyes. And so we get the scene that's played all the time. And Kody says, "Are your eyes closed?" And it's one of the top sister wives cringe moments there is. And he starts to dance. And it looks like some seizure like activity. It looks like what a kid would do with ADHD, hopped up on sugar, which is probably what he is, undiagnosed ADHD. He's got a lot of those symptoms there. And some people say that the way that you dance is the way that you make love. And if that's true, what is going on there? And she says, "We'll just raise our hands with our eyes closed." So Olivia says the carrot with the cream cheese frosting, and Meri and Janelle both raise their hands. Okay, the white cake with strawberry filling, and then Kody said, "Robyn, just pick my favorite. We're just going to say that's the deal. Pick my favorite." That he wants the white cake with strawberry filling. So Kody raises two hands and Robyn raises her hand. And then Olivia says the white cake with almond filling, and Christine raises her hand. Meri says, "If I had a last vote, I wouldn't vote for that." Why? Why? Why do you have to be that way? Nobody wants you to be that way. Anyway, Olivia said that's all of them. The white cake with the strawberry filling. If Kody gets 2 votes, that's the one that got the most. And then shows him back on the couch. The voting went very well. It went exactly how I wanted it to go, and I got the cake I wanted for my wedding reception. And it shows him back at the bakery, but Meri called Robyn a sucker because she voted for Kody's cake. And Robyn said, "What do you mean I'm a sucker? I voted for it. That's because I didn't even know what he picked. I had my eyes closed." And it's so easy for her to just lie. She says, "I didn't even know which one he picked." And she's so serious when she says that. And all the wives can tell, like, the mood has changed because Robyn is straight up lying here. Meri says, "No, he told you what to pick. He said it out loud. Don't say you didn't know. You knew." And it's not so much that she picked his cake, it's that she just says so easily, "That's why we had our eyes closed. I didn't even know what Kody picked." You did know what Kody picked. We all knew what Kody picked. Olivia knew what Kody picked. Meri knew what Kody picked. Janelle knew what Kody picked. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. And she's going to sit there and say, "I didn't even know." All serious. And I bet she does that all the time. That's why Christine says she lies. She lies. Because she's just doing it in every day conversation now, just lying. Anyway, is this a family event, picking out this cake, or not? Because nobody else's vote mattered in this situation. So are you including them or not? Robyn says the reception is a few weeks away. We're still kind of looking for a place to have the reception. So that's next to figure out. They go to this area where they do have their wedding. And it's a big open area and it is pretty. Janelle gets into how she hates receptions. Queen Janelle says, "You have to know I hate receptions. They're just horrible and boring. You sit at this little table, they give you a little bit of food, and then you go home. I hate that. Do you know what I mean?" So I totally understand what she's saying. She's saying she doesn't want the social responsibility and having to talk to people and dress up and look nice to sit at this little table and eat this little bit of food and then go home. And I understand what she's saying. Just watch the wedding and give me a to-go bag. Oh my goodness. But Robyn's all excited because Janelle seems to like this place. I think because it's outside. And Janelle loves outside. She said, "Yeah, I was dreading it, but this is good." So that was nice. So I think this next part is Christine throwing some shade at Robyn. She says, "My wedding reception was totally different. I did not believe that a plural wife going into a family should have a big reception. I thought she should have a small family dinner." And I think she's throwing shade because she understands the finances of this plural family. There's always the question of, okay, we know TLC is paying for this wedding. We know it. But is it mandated that they spend a certain amount of money? I mean, are they given a budget and whatever they don't spend, they can keep? Because that's a big question. If they could have had a smaller wedding and paid off Robyn's debt with leftover money, that would have been the more responsible thing to do. Was there a way to just keep leftover money? I mean, why are we doing so much? And Christina's probably sitting here thinking of all the coupons she has clipped in her life, 25 and 30-cent coupons to save money. And here we are having this humongous reception. It's a lot for a person who's been struggling for years to take in. And then Janelle says, "I didn't really have a reception. I mean, I really didn't. When I chose to marry into a plural family, my friends and family were very shocked. So I did not have enough people probably to even invite to a reception that would have come. So I didn't have one." So Christine says we're all kind of living vicariously through Robyn. And it shows like this gazebo style arch. And three of the women get around it, and Janelle says, I'm not doing that because they're pretending to be like pole dancers around Kody, who of course flexes his muscles in the middle of it. And Janelle says, I'm not doing that. I told you how much I like Janelle. The tour guide, she sets them down at the table and they're looking at menus now. And she asks them if they can share two menus. Or do you want me to get one for everyone? Meri says, you have no idea how much we share. Janelle says, I have to admit, we do play with people a little bit when we meet them because a lot of times we get so much judgment that it's kind of fun once in a while to just turn the tables and be a little goofy with them. Then she says, do you think she already knew by that time that we were polygamous? In order for the baker and the florist and the reception tour guide and even the dress shop, they had to sign something giving them permission to be on TV. And you know that they would ask some questions about what kind of show is this. They knew. I mean, why are we even pretending here? I don't get it. I don't know why they keep bringing that up. Robyn says the last thing we need to do is go to the bridal shop and check out dresses to see if we can find what will work for us to all look gorgeous that day. When you take somebody to go pick out a wedding dress, you only take the people that you care about, like your mom or your aunt or your grandma or somebody that you're close to because you value their opinions. So taking somebody dress shopping is a bonding experience. It is something that you only do with loved ones. You're supposed to care about these people's opinions. And did you already have a dress picked out and you're faking this with them? You're coming out in these dresses and they're telling you about the cut and the style and what looks best on you. And you have already taken care of this, but you're just lying to these people. And so Celeste gets to join the ranks of Olivia and say, what brings you into our store? And Christine does this sweet little, she's getting married, like all excited. So when Kody says things like, you never were a good sister wife, this is the epitome of a good sister wife. She is pointing to Robyn and saying she's getting married. So how much more of a good sister wife could she be? That's a good sister wife. And Robyn says, we're looking for dresses for all of these three as well. Then Meri, typical Meri, says, the criteria on this is that we don't want to look like bridesmaids. We don't want to look like mothers of the bride, somewhere in between. So you can tell she's going to be picky about this. And then it shows them trying on dresses and Meri making faces and trying on at least 4 dresses, and every dress she tries on, she's not liking any of them. She's making these disgusted faces. Robyn says, my goal in my head is that everybody's happy here. I've been working in that direction the whole time. So is everybody going to be happy when they find out later you were lying? Your goal is not to make everybody happy. You have your own goals here. So she can stop talking about that. And she says, it's my job to make sure that this is a beautiful night. Meri says, yes, there's been a lot leading up to Kody and Robyn getting married. And once the wedding is done, we can move on and start figuring out what our normal is. And Robyn says, I was walking around looking at wedding dresses and all of a sudden it hit me. Oh my gosh, I'm finally getting married and I'm joining this family. So that was this kind of quiet moment of finally we're here. I'm getting married. And she almost cried. She didn't though. I was going to count it. I thought she was going to cry, but she didn't. Kody says the whole experience has been like this roller coaster ride and it's very exciting and it's really scary. And at the very end, you're finally stop with the roller coaster and go, oh gosh, wow. So it shows Robyn trying on the dresses and the wives giving input for what we don't know. And they're saying all the right things and they're being encouraging to her and they're discussing the styles and the cuts and saying how good she looks. And Robyn says, every girl wants the perfect dress for their wedding. So I was waiting for that special moment when it was like, this is the one. And although each dress was gorgeous and fun, it just wasn't quite what I wanted. So I didn't choose anything. So yeah, it's a secret. She's saying I didn't choose anything at that time. And Janelle says, I keep asking, which one did you choose? Just like it's a secret. You'll see. And now here we are, the top 5 epic scenes of Sister Wives history. Kody says, I got a bomb. Yeah, I got a bomb I'm dropping today. Yeah, you'll love this one. And Christine's like, okay, go ahead. Tell us what it is. And Kody says, I picked the dress. I picked the dress. And you can see Robyn's face drop. Christine looks down and she tenses up. And she says, did you really? And he says, I picked the dress. And we went to Lisa's bridal and Robyn and I went and we looked at dresses and she picked one out. And I was like, holy cow. It's like I'd seen it in my dreams, you know. And Christine says, thanks. That's just a nice thing to do. And then Kody kind of realizes here that he screwed up. He goes, I think it's important. I don't think that it's fair that I not be included. And Christine says, since when is the groom ever involved with the wedding dress? Like you cared what I wore at all at our wedding. I mean, that wasn't even, you didn't even care. And Melanie from Notes to Self says that this could be grounds for calling off a wedding. The way that all these women are feeling right now could be grounds for calling off a wedding because they lied and he's seen the dress already and they're not following any of the traditions. And she said that she was doing one thing and she did another thing. And Melanie said that they could go to the AUB with this and it could be grounds for calling off a wedding. They could have done that. And Meri says it's just not cool, kind of a slap in the face. Janelle said, I wasn't really emotionally involved with any of the dresses, just weird. And Christine says, can I be done? And she stands up and she takes off her mic and she walks away. He says, you don't have to do it this way. And in her new book, she says that he also said, you're not being very lovable. So it says that she was gone for a little while. She was gone for 2 or 3 days. She walked out. Like she didn't come back for 2 or 3 days. I don't think Christine was wrong in this. She saw this was the epitome of how this relationship was going to be. They were going to keep secrets and they were going to do things behind the family's back. And they were going to lie and say they didn't have a dress when they really did have a dress. And they're going to pick cakes of their own, even though people are voting for other cakes. So I think Christine just kind of got waylaid with the fact this is the epitome of how it's going to be the rest of their lives. That Kody and Robyn are now one unit and they're going to just take over. And so, yeah, it's bigger. Their dynamic is bigger than all the other wives. Everything's changing. And at her wedding, Kody said, I couldn't even hardly get off work. And he had a 1,000-yard stare. And the kiss they had was awkward. It is a slap in the face that he's so concerned about Robyn and her wedding. And she sees Kody head over heels for Robyn. And Robyn lies so easily. And she asks Kody to lie. They come back. And Christine says, I felt betrayed because Robyn was all very quiet about what her dress looked like. And then all of a sudden it was like this thing that we had done, all done together, like the women. And then here's Kody saying, oh, well, it wasn't really for real. Like it took me back. And that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Kody really did say, oh, well, it wasn't for real. This bonding moment they should have had. And Christine said, it wasn't funny. You look like an idiot. And Robyn says, it wasn't funny to me either. It was actually something that I had to ask you not to share with everybody for the sake of sort of protecting both experiences. I didn't feel it was necessary for you guys to know that. Is that an apology? Basically, she's saying, I asked Kody to lie and he didn't, and it hurt your feelings, but I didn't want you guys to have hurt feelings. You did it. And you asked him to lie about it. And then she's not apologizing or anything. She's saying that she's not at fault because they did what they did, but she asked him to lie about it. He didn't lie. Kody says, I actually just want to say I'm sorry because I got excited about something and it was just stupid. I mean, this is just one of those times where you just do the wrong thing. Christine says, I can just put it in a nutshell. Every woman is insane. Every man is, in fact, an idiot at times. And every woman is not insane. And every man is not an idiot. Just Kody's an idiot. That's it. We don't need the rest of that sentence. Kody said, this has been painful. Just sit here and I'm like feeling almost numb. Sorry. I guess I could have been less of a chump and more of a man. Christine says, you can step it up. You've chosen this. We've chosen you. We expect more. You do have what it takes. That's why we chose you. And I need you to step it up because you can. And then she loses me here. She says, I will step it up too. How much more can you step up, Christine? You can't. And then she looks at Robyn and says, and I will step up for you too. Promise. Why is she apologizing to these people? She should be more mad at Robyn that she asked Kody to lie and hide something and never apologizes and never admits that the bonding moment they had was all a scam. But yeah, Christine, you apologize. And Kody says, please be forgiven. Christine says, please be patient. Okay. And Kody said, this is a good time to make a request if anybody wants one because I am saying yes. And they all laugh. So there's just these little incidents that happen all through this episode. And they seem small and they seem trivial, but at the end of the day, it shows you the dynamic that her and Kody have and keep for the rest of their lives. They're going to lie for each other. They're going to hide things. They're going to choose each other over everybody else. It's a lot of red flags here. A lot of red flags. All right. So that's the end of that episode. For my tell-all question that I pick out at the end of every episode, I would want to sit Robyn down. I want to see the receipt And I want to see exactly when she bought that dress. Was it before the taping, before the bonding experience, or after the bonding experience? Did she lead the wives into thinking they were helping and bonding? What day did you pick out that dress? I want receipts. That's it for today. If you like my podcast, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to reach me, you can always reach me at redflagrewatch@gmail.com. Thank you for joining me today. See you next time. What do you call a criminal landing an airplane? One more time. What do you call a criminal landing an airplane? Descending. You get it? Descending. Anyway. All right. I'll see myself out. Thank you, Adeline. Bye.